That's word because you can't touch this. You can't touch this. Break it down. Stop. Hammer time.
Welcome to this week's episode of Talking Footy. I'm your host Sean. As you can see, once again, Dan's still not here. He's still in Africa. Unfortunately, we were meant to have a very good debate, a spirited debate between the codes. Unfortunately, work commitments have stopped that, but only postponed it. Alright, don't worry, it will be coming on further down the track. Not too long, hopefully. But let's get into the proper stuff, the good footy. And it has been a bumper weekend last weekend. Seriously, what a week. Barely a pubic hair in each scoreline. Speaking of which, the Bulldogs, mate, they made history by becoming the first team to score 1, 2, 3 in a row, the hat-trick of 1-point wins in their tight tussle over the Bunnies. Very good one. Well, the Broncos, with the exception of the rule, but just manhandling the Knights. And also on Friday night, Manly won in controversy. Again over the Cowboys. Poor, luckless blokes from North Queensland. Anyhow, the Steelers, mate, they proved too good for the Warriors. And the Sharks, mate, they found their bite, but only to lose to the defending premiers. A tight game, good game. Sunday's only game saw Canberra snatch a win away from Melbourne. A late victory. I mean, Melbourne had it, and then it was gone. What a shame. Speaking of which, even in Africa, Dan, the man, managed to put his 2 cents in after beating, well, as you guys know, his arch nemesis. This is what Dan had to say after the win. I mean, it's a lesson in humility. Check it out. He's a stand-up bloke, that Dan. Can't wait to see you come back. And yes, Monday night had 2 ripper games. Mate, West just shaded Parramatta in a barnstorming effort in front of a big Easter show crowd. Very good game, all the way to the wire. And speaking of all the way to the wire, Panthers won an arm wrestle against the Titans. I was there and it was a tough game. 2 points in it. Very tough football. Defensively strong, both teams. But the big news during the week, Benji Marshall. Rugby hasn't worked out for him. He wants back. But the Tigers don't want him back. Most of the other Sydney clubs don't want him, and he only wants to come to Sydney. Looks like Cronulla's they're the only ones with a bit of space to work with. But Melbourne apparently wouldn't mind having him on the books, because as we know, there won't be a lot of money to spend at the moment. Benji's going to have to take a big pay cut to come back for this year. Melbourne could really do with somebody of his skill, especially around Origin time when they're missing Cameron Smith and Cooper Cron. So, could he go to Melbourne? Could he go to Cronulla? Don't know why he'd go to Cronulla. They're pretty well stocked in the halves and the fullbacks, so we'll see what's going there. Glenn Stewart and Tim Grant have decided to eat into the salary cap dent that Sam Burgess has left by signing with South Sydney. Big news for South Sydney. I mean, Glenn Stewart, international, Origin player, premiership winner, Clive Churchill medal winner. Very good and solid footballer. Rarely plays a bad game. We might not play the best game every week, but very rarely plays a bad game. So it's a big pickup for them, huge loss for Manly. And Panthers losing another local junior in Tim Grant. As with Luke Lewis, as with Michael Gordon, I wish him nothing but the best. And Lachlan Coote as well. Wish him nothing but the best of luck in his future endeavours. There's no hard feelings from the Panthers side of things. Obviously, there's more hard feelings towards the poor mismanagement of the old system at Penrith, which Gus Gould was brought in to get rid of, because too many players are back-ended contracts, and guess what? Every year we're mediocre. Unfortunately, Tim Grant's been caught in the middle of it. He wanted to stay. We would have loved to have kept him, but this is this day and age. So unfortunately, Timmy's lost, but we wish you nothing but the best, Tim. Now, another one. And we mentioned, just touched on it before, the Tigers game against Parramatta. Luke Brooks, Brad Arthur, the Parramatta coach, accused the young half of taking a dive to earn a penalty with the obstruction. Now, I know this is a contentious issue, very contentious issue. What's Shepherd, what's not? If the Shepherd exists anymore, who knows? Now, Luke, honestly, Luke Brooks, he's no Greg Louganis. He's not a diver. If you watch the footage correctly, the thing that saved him, and actually saved the try, which didn't really matter anyway, because Parramatta scored another couple of sets later and Chris Sandow didn't convert. So Brad Arthur can blow his horn all he likes. It's not going to bring it back, and you're not correct. But Luke Brooks never had eyes for the decoy. Never even tried to attempt to make contact with the decoy. And the decoy didn't really try to make contact with him either. He tried to run on his inside shoulder. The problem was, as Luke Brooks has tried to get away from David Gower, who's about 105, 108 kilos, running straight towards his inside shoulder, as he's tried to turn and get around him, where he had the eyes on the opposition player, he's clipped his leg. Now, body movement, trying to go forward, you've got a big body coming towards you, just a little clip like that can send you on the ground. He didn't go up and throw his arms up in the air, he didn't look over the referee, he didn't make much of it, he simply fell because he was trying to change direction and he was hit. Perfect penalty, happy enough with it. If that's what they're going to go with, fine. The problem was the other stuff, but we'll get to that later. In fact, we're going to get to it now in our favourite segment, Who's Shithouse and Who's Shit Hot. Now, shithouse are the video referees. Now, they may have got the Luke Brooks, William Hopewade try right, but that's the exception to the rule. Biggest talking point out of it all was the Manly Cowboys game, where Jamie Burra has run straight through a hole created by a decoy runner taking out a defender. And God only knows what Paul Mellor and the other bloke in the video box were doing, because they both stuffed it up. I don't know if they've accidentally pressed the wrong button, but hey, they really stuffed that one up. And even bring it back, the Bulldogs might have won, and they did in the tightest of circumstances. But in the first 10 minutes, the Bulldogs had a fair try disallowed, and it was a beautiful try. It would have been closer try of the year. Disallowed because Josh Morris ran around his own player. Now, no one was impeded. He actually ran behind his own player. So if it was an old school shepherd, fair enough. But as a obstruction rule, 0 people were impeded. No one could even get to him. It didn't matter. The only person who was impeded was Josh Morris by his own player. Nothing happening. Pass one out. Should have been a try. It wasn't. Fair enough. Next set of 6 South penalty. For some insane reason, John Sutton can do the same thing. Stops dead in the opposition 40 unless the players tackle him. But that's not a shepherd. Come on, guys. Let's get a bit of consistency. 2 referees on the field aren't working it out. 2 referees in the video box aren't working it out. Come on, guys. Let's really sort this out. This is amateur hour. We've had enough. Alright. Shit hot, you ask? Mate, the Renaissance man, Pat Richards. He left in the end of 2005 to go to Wigan. Carved out a wonderful career in the Super League. I'd like to see another Aussie actually match what he has done over there. He was fantastic. He became a goal kicker as well. Kicking a buttload of goals. Comes back to Australia, back to the Tigers. Team he won a premiership in his last game in Australia. And lo and behold, he's killing it again. His goal kicking is through the roof. He's a leading try scorer. Runaway tries. He's in his 30s and he's still got it. He's as safe as houses. And do you see his halfway penalty goal? Didn't even look like missing. Kick field goals too. Play fullback. Play wing. I think he's even the Irish captain sometimes. He's on fire. So he's definitely a chance. Now there is whispers that he could partner Brett Morris as the other winger in Origin. Just if James Maloney doesn't come good and start playing the good football that we know he can, apparently the only thing saving him in his Origin jersey is his goal kicking. If they decide to go with someone else, don't be surprised to see Pat Richards pull on the number 5. He's doing well. Rightio. Now not this weekend, but this weekend actually, we start with the Anzac Games. Now, every now and again, something happens in football that lets us know that it is just a game. As much as we love it, and trust us, we do, the reality is, it's just a game. And thankfully, on Anzac Day, we can celebrate the people who made a real difference in our lives. So I have best of luck to everyone who goes out to the games tomorrow on Friday, and honour all the people who served Australia, New Zealand, everybody to make us have the lives we do today. So congratulations to you gentlemen for everything you've done, and we wish you nothing but the best, and we respect everything. Thank you very much. Anzac Test is the week after. All NRL games are off for that weekend. The Anzac Test, the City Country, and also a game I hope you guys can get out to. I know I'm going. I went to Samoa versus Tonga last year at this time and it was great. This year it's Fiji versus Samoa. The winner plays in the Four Nations at the end of the year. Now this one's over in Penrith as well, May 3rd, only $10 to get in. $10 for 4 games of footy, I think it is. Maybe it's just 3. But still, 3 games of footy at a decent venue that still serves full price beer. I mean, not full price, it is still full price, but full strength beer. In fact, you can get new or extra dry. No middies. And you can still get Jim Beam. Just go for gold, boys. But go in, have fun. I want to get over 10,000 of there. Go in, go watch it. Fiji, such a strong back line. Forwards are okay, but their back line are superstars. And Samoa, without the NRL playing, they'll be able to pick every single player available and have a really strong team. So guys, get out there, support International Rugby League. And if you don't want to go to that one out in Penrith, fine, whatever, uppity bastards. You can go to the test match on the Friday night. Anzac Test, Australia versus New Zealand. Very good history. New Zealand have fuck all chance of winning this one. And if anyone wants to argue with me, I'd like to see you bring up a valid point. But go watch Australia. First game back after winning the World Cup back from New Zealand. It's actually not that expensive. I think it's about $35 as cheap tickets. Oh, not even cheap tickets, medium price tickets to get in the SFS. So if you've got the chance, Friday night, not this Friday obviously, but next Friday night, go to the test match. It'll be great times. If you can't go on Friday, go on Saturday. And hey, maybe you're lucky, you can go to both. And then we got City Country on the Sunday. Now, blokes like Buzz Rothfield, who's starting to make sense, which is really eerie. However, he doesn't like the game, City Country. Thinks it's glorified. Not at all. City boy, Mitchell Pearce put his hand up. He wants to play for City. So it's not just the country boys showing their pride. It's everybody. We get into it. So City Country is on the Sunday as well. So we've got a big game of football next week. Now, obviously, I'm by myself, so it's a bit hard to do reminiscing and stuff like that. And I don't really have a hot topic this week. So we're just going to go straight to the tips of the week. Now, I'm normally play it safe. You guys know me, but I still pick you a lot of winners. This time I want you to go for a multi. I think the Warriors are going to win down in Melbourne. And I want you to bung that on together. Add it with Bulldogs to win by 13+. I think that should be a good dividend for you. Some money in your back pocket, enjoy your long weekend. Well guys, that about wraps up this show. I'd like to thank our sponsors, the Car Hole Tavern, serving everything well and having a very good business. And also the Rugby League DVDs Facebook page. Former eBay seller Philip79 has now shut down his selling site, but you can also contact him through his Facebook page, which shows those great country games, and he's also got everything else involved. So if you've got anything, message him. Rugby League DVDs on Facebook. Speaking of Facebook, like our page, facebook.com/Dan Talking Footy Sean, and go to www.talkingfooty.com for all your football needs. Have a go at the AFL blokes, have a go at the rugby blokes, have a go at the soccer blokes, and give us the thumbs up. And by the way, fans, if you have anything you want to add to the show, send us a message. If we like it, we'll read it out. If we don't like it, we'll read it out and call you an idiot. Who knows? Thanks for watching. See you next week. Cheers.
And that's the end of that chapter.